Joe Rogan spoke a little bit about atheism in one of his recent podcasts. Let's listen to some of his comments.
People that will tell you that this religion is correct because this religion is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll force themselves to like be stuck in that little box.
Right.
And you don't want to admit that you ever fucked up and lived 20 years of your life believing in some nonsense, so then you're stuck. You're stuck in this little box. And that could be atheism just as much as it can be Christianity. Because I've met a lot of atheists that I'm like, listen, you're in a religion. You're just in the religion called atheism. And they like want you to proclaim that you're an atheist. Like, I know this dude that's an atheist, and like he gets upset if I say I don't know. You know, like
that drives me insane. That to me is the most honest thing you can say is about a lot about stuff of the universe is I don't know, because that's the reality of it.
He hasn't had any really extreme psychedelic experiences either.
Right.
He's had none. In fact, he's a very smart guy, but his ideas are like only based on his own personal experiences and what he's learned and what he's read. And he's a very smart person. He's very aware of religion, but he's like so adamant about proclaiming there is no God. And I'm like, look, dude, I have seen things on mushrooms that are way crazier than an old man with a book checking your name in the cloud and leading you through pearly gates, and there's a bunch of people with wings. I've seen some shit that's way crazier than that. So that, I don't think that's real. But there's no evidence whatsoever in my estimation that exists. But the idea that there might be some universal consciousness that we want to describe as a God, and it's not this old man in the clouds wearing robes. It's just something maybe even beyond the realm of humanity, beyond the realm of the possibility of us understanding. I don't see any evidence for that, but I'm not throwing it out. Have you ever heard of well, there's atheism, obviously, but there's a thing called Atheism Plus. Have you ever heard of Atheism
Plus?
What's
Atheism Plus? Do tell.
It's essentially a new religion. It's atheism plus a set of moral guidelines. I call it duh.
Look, to the last comment, part of me completely understands that Joe Rogan thinks it's duh to have a set of beliefs that basically say be a good person along with atheism. But at the same time, as I've argued for before, I think one of the problems with intellectuals, with smart people across the board, is that we don't know how to rally people together because we are all loners. You know, if you're a rational person, almost by definition, you can figure things out on your own, and you don't need to go all rah-rah with a crowd of people, with a group of people. But I think that's to our detriment. I think that hurts us. I think if we were able to take smart beliefs, moral beliefs, and feelings, and we get together and we are a force together, I think that can only have positive effects on society. So part of me understands it, but the other part of me doesn't like it when you have smart people sort of poo-pooing other smart people and saying, like, yeah, we get it. Like, okay, be a good person, whatever. Like, let's go do something else. No, but if we reinforce this, and if we talk about it, and if we're brazen about it, and if we're in people's face about it, then maybe we affect some change for the better in society as a whole. But let's also go through some of his other points here, because a lot of this I thought was interesting. He made the point that he thinks, well, atheism can be a religion. No, not really. It's kind of a definitional thing. Look, I get it if he's saying sometimes the traits of people who are atheistic are equivalent to that of religious people. Like they have the same kind of passion and the same kind of fervor in spreading their beliefs and evangelizing. Sure, that's true, but that doesn't mean that atheism is a religion. I mean, the definition of atheism is a lack of God and a lack of religion. So you can't just say something is its opposite, just like the great Bill Maher line about how atheism is a religion like abstinence is a sex position. You can't flip the definitions because you feel like that's the case. That's just not the way it works. And then he says, well, my friend gets mad when I say I don't know. Well, your friend's a weird atheist because certainly in my experience, and I'd venture to say a majority of atheists in general, we are also agnostics, which means we don't know. It's just they're two different questions. One question is, what do you believe? The other question is, what do you know? They answer two different questions. So most atheists are agnostics, and most agnostics are atheists. Because if you ask me what I know, of course I don't know if there's a God or if there isn't a God. I don't know. So I'm an agnostic in that sense. But what do I believe? That's the question that atheism answers. What do I believe? I don't actively believe in a God, so in that case, I'm an atheist. By those definitions, Joe Rogan himself is also an atheist. He's an agnostic atheist. And the final thing I'll say is, when he, in my opinion, moves the goalposts, he's not helping the conversation. When he says, well, look, I don't know to the point where God can be a universal consciousness. I'm open to that idea. But, Joe, I don't even really know what that means. Like, what does that mean? I've heard other people say that before. You know, people who are like New Age spiritualists. Like, this is like kind of like a Deepak Chopra-ish belief. And I'm not saying the rest of Joe Rogan's beliefs are like Deepak Chopra, because he's mocked Deepak Chopra openly before. So that's, you know, I want to be clear about that he's not in league with Deepak. But I never understood what that meant. It's almost like you're taking the understanding of the word God that we all understand, and you're just moving the goalposts and saying, well, now by the word God, we just mean we're all one consciousness or something. I don't get it. And also, I lied. One more thing. There's no problem with evangelizing and being in your face and being almost condescending in an anti-theist position. You see what I mean? And maybe that's what his friend was doing, and maybe he might not have liked that, but that's something that I actually think is rather common sense. Like, if people are not going out of their way to slam all religions and call them stupid, I don't think you're doing a good job. Like, you need to do that. You need to talk about how Christianity is silly and wrong, and it's dogmatic, and it's made up, and point to the evidence of all the stupid shit in the Bible. Same thing with the Quran. Same thing with the Bhagavad Gita. So I don't want people to say, because of your tone and how you're going after X, Y, and Z, I'm not going to listen to you. Focus more on the substance of what the people are saying. Because the substance, whenever you listen to an anti-theist, the substance is almost always there. Because they're right. We can't say for sure about a God. Like, nobody can say, I'm 100% sure there is no God. But we can say for sure about religion. And we know that none of them are true.